did like millions of dollars of revenue from just talking to people, and there's no sales funnel. I am actually looking for the shows that have basically no traction.
That's David Ledge, 20 years building and running revenue systems for agencies and professional services companies. He's been in the sales seat closing millions of dollars for dozens of different businesses. He's not a content creator teaching content. He's a business operator who discovered podcasting could generate real revenue in ways nobody else talks about. Most people treat podcasting as audience building. David's approach generated millions with no sales funnel. Here's how. How do you actually use podcasting when starting a business?
Every time I start a business, one of the first things I will do is I just think of it as like a podcast tour. But I specifically am not out there marketing in any way. I am actually looking for the shows that have basically no traction. So I'm using that as a validation. I'm using that as reps. How many times can I tell? I got to get better at telling this story. And so what better people that do that than people who are interviewing me prior to trying to do a go-to-market? And the second thing is, I think that you need to be very strategic about if you are using it for influence building, and you need to think about what's the why, right?
So instead of being a guest, you create your own show.
I did this several times with businesses where I was very discerning in, I'm doing this podcast because I have ABM, account-based marketing strategy. I'm going to build this show such that it's a feature stage on which my target market customer looks awesome, and I get to talk to them and about them and promote them. And in that case, we did millions of dollars of revenue from just talking to people, and there's no sales funnel.
What's the long-term value of these conversations?
Oh yeah, any content, that I think about or do, it's just amazing because years later, people will say, hey, I remember that conversation. Or I just reconnected with a guy that I interviewed 8 years ago. We talked for 1 hour and we've still been in orbit with each other. I think it's the new way to really have a meaningful and durable connection. I mean, how many times have you had a beer or a coffee or, whatever, and then 8 years later, hey, it's good to see you, man. I've been following your stuff. I mean, all day long, I work on podcasts for business and B2B. I don't listen to anything like that.
What about systems for finding podcasts or guests?
My approach is not a system. I use LinkedIn heavily. That's how we met. And I think that we collectively have gotten this idea that everything needs to be a system. And it's moved away from the idea of really what I want is to have conversations with cool people. Find people and have good conversations. And if you want to do a mention and say, hey, I noticed you have a show. Could we do an episode together? Fine. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but it's the authenticity of those conversations. When I get invited on, it just happened. You just did it. Come talk because that was cool, right? That's all I do. I use LinkedIn heavily. That's how we met. More conversations all the time. Post, comment, DM, whatever I can do to get conversations. Now, people try so hard to make a system and how do I make it faster? Well, it doesn't work that way. You get invited because you inspired someone to invite you. If you're a podcast that's so desperate for guests that you're using all these things to fill up your calendar, why are you even doing a podcast?
What are you seeing change in podcasting?
The more I just take the guards off and I just talk about what I care about, there are other people that care. And the attempt to be polished has become so bleh now that actually people are interested in different things. My new podcast, what are you seeing in podcast land? A massive shift to everybody's done with this one-on-one interview thing. Unless they're authentic, it's interesting. We're having a real conversation. There's a reason to do it. But there's a massive resurgence in, look, my consumption rate for solo episodes is through the roof and nobody gives a damn about any of my interview podcasts because it became formulaic.
Here's David's approach. Use small podcasts for validation and reps. Create your own show to feature ideal customers. Focus on authentic relationships over pitch systems. Use LinkedIn to genuinely connect, not to spam. And remember, people want real conversations, not templated interviews. What's your experience with podcasting for business? Let me know in the comments.